Oh my gosh, your 14th panel so far this weekend.
Yeah, number 50.
Number 50.
Yeah.
We're keeping it going. Wait, what other panels? Because I know you mentioned you crashed a panel this weekend.
I did. Yeah, I crashed the My Hero Academia one.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, a lot of fun. I'm part of the cast, so
Right.
at least it made sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah. But we had our little Five Nights at Freddy's one
Yeah.
before as well, and now I just get my own. I'm honored.
Solo, riding solo.
YOLO solo.
That is perfect for Miami.
True.
How has your weekend been so far?
Great. Everybody's been super nice. The food's been fantastic.
Any recommendations food-wise? What do we got?
There was this ramen place called like 107 something.
Yeah.
I feel so bad.
That's
I
okay.
don't remember the other. It's like 107. Does anybody in the audience
Anybody?
know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
107 what?
Taste?
Taste? Yeah,
Hey.
okay, 107 Taste, I guess.
Yum.
Yeah, so good.
What-
It was like, I recommend the miso ramen.
I was going to ask, what's your go-to ramen order?
Yeah, either tonkatsu or miso, but it depends from restaurant to restaurant. Some use a bit too much salt.
Right.
Some don't
We
use
don't like that.
enough.
Yeah.
That's why I always try to carry soy sauce packets with me.
I love
no
that.
other reason.
Oh my gosh, that is great. But 107 Taste got it right,
Yeah,
and
I-
we get the
I think so. 107 Taste.
Yum.
I think that's what I heard.
perfect,
I
delicious.
have little mole eyes and little bat ears. Like,
That's all right. That's amazing. So obviously, you get to do quite a few of these conventions. You're reunited with people from, like you mentioned, My Hero, Freddy's. What is your favorite thing about being at Comic Cons?
oh my gosh, you guys! Like I'm not even trying to like. I'm not trying to like for real. I when you're in a little room, a little padded room, just screaming, you have no idea how this is going to like affect anybody. But when they come up and say stuff like, "You have changed my life," or like, "I relate with this character so much, and here's why," or like, "This character," like Glamrock Freddy was a father figure type of surrogate type of thing for me, like during really hard times in my life. It's like, oh, I think I'm doing the right thing. Yeah.
That's so amazing. I can't even
It's the
process
best.
that.
Plus, I get a lot of cool gifts from you guys. It is the greatest superpower ever to be able to make someone smile and giggle and scream with just 4 words. Way to go, superstar. And they go like, ah! It is, I am so blessed, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you.
And thank you for being here.
Sure.
So you mentioned just now that you're in a room, you're obviously screaming, you're doing all these different vocal things. How do you keep your instrument from
Giving out.
Yeah.
Lots of vocal rest. I try, at least when I try to know what I'm doing beforehand. They won't always tell you unless you ask, They might not even tell you if you ask. So if they are gracious enough to tell you that it's going to be vocally stressful, then I try to make the day after at least, or at least the night after, just a vocal rest time where I do not talk at all, not even a whisper. The human body is incredible. It can repair itself really quick if you don't use that part for a bit, So a lot of vocal rest. There are some great teas out there. Throat Coat is the one I like the best. Golden Throat lozenges have saved my life. Ninjom. Lots of supplements. There's a lot that you can do to save your throat, but it's really just knowing your limits at the end of the day and speaking up if you're too uncomfortable,
Which of your roles would you say is the most vocally taxing?
That's tough because I have a lot of those. Fiddlesticks was up there. If there are any League of Legends fans in the audience, yeah, okay, we got one at least. It, I suppose, is they called it a rusty gate that can talk, and that's pretty apt, honestly. It's a lot of inward, like kind of picture that for 2 hours. They let me take breaks as often as I want, no judgment. And I'll just like have this Fred Tatasciore, who voices the Hulk, he calls it Hulk juice, to keep you going throughout a session. So yeah, that would probably be one of them. But luckily, when I have rules like that, usually the studios are pretty often now. The studios are nice enough to be like, yeah, you just tell us when it's time, and you can have a break, like anytime.
Yeah. And as far as like doing voicing for, let's say, video games versus animation, what would you say are like the biggest differences?
With animation, there are two types of animation I do. For what we call prelay, which is the classic Saturday morning cartoons. Prelay means you lay the voices before you do the animation, so prelay. And that is pretty free form. You can improv all you want with that. It's there's really no format. There is a format, but like it's easy to bend around. For video games, it's a bit more organized, and depending on if you're dubbing, like if you're doubling for somebody who's already done it in Japan or China, they might want you to match that performance to the T. They might just want you to match the time. Like, you have to keep this sentence within 2 seconds, usually, something like that. But then when it's prelay video games, I guess, they're not called that, but that's the easiest way to put it. Then it's like this big Microsoft Excel document, and you just sort of see line after line after line after line. And those are a lot like animation, too. It's just sort of a lot more to explore, honestly, because animation tends to be 15 to 30 minutes or whatever. Yeah, and then anime is probably the most condensed, but it's also one of the funnest to me because it can be the most challenging. You get the beep, 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 and then on the imaginary fourth you talk, and make sure that it hits within the vocal flaps that have already been animated. And if you can make it your own past that, I think you've won with that. But sometimes it's just like so much that it's like, okay, I just need to do what the Seiyu did, the Japanese voice actor.
Oh my gosh. So growing up, were you a fan of video games and anime, and what were some of your favorites?
Well, video games, I was not allowed to play actual video games until I was like 13. Because back in the 90s, they did not really know how autism was going to manifest when video games were starting to become a thing. So my mom wanted to be on the careful side, and I just played learning games like Math Blasters and like Pajama Sam, Freddy Fish, Putt Putt, all that stuff. You know Putt Putt?
I love Putt Putt.
Okay, good,
the little purple
good.
car. Oh,
Yeah,
we love Putt Putt.
Yeah, there are some that are like, oh, Putt Putt, and there are some like, what are you talking about? It's Spy Fox, all of those guys. But then my friend snuck me my first Game Boy. I think it was a color at the time with a copy of Pokemon Gold, and I was gone. I hid it from my parents for a while, but they caught wise, and they were like, okay, we're tired of trying to keep you away from it. It's time. And video games just became my life after that. I am still like in my mind on the floor, like when I'm not fully immersed talking to you guys, I'm thinking, I cannot wait to get back to Mass Effect. I'm doing like my 8th run of the whole series. And I mod Skyrim in my spare time. I love video games, and I love cartoons too. Ben 10 and Transformers are my special interests. I actually have a YouTube channel where we do extra content about Ben 10 that the creators have actually said, like, yeah, that's great. That's amazing stuff. It's called the Ink Tank, if you guys are curious. We're really proud of it, and that's what I do in my spare time. Yeah. We have some Ink Tank fans. Right on, right on.
And I was
Thank
going to
you,
say, I
thank
love
you,
that
Taylor.
your first console was the Game Boy. Mine was the Game Boy too. That's the era. Yeah.
Color or
No,
before?
before.
Oh, so like
Yeah.
OG, like
I
what,
had-
did you have a like Pokemon Red or whatever?
No, so my first game I think was like Tetris, but then I got Kirby's Dream World.
Kirby
That was my first
Dreamland.
game
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
played.
Oh wow, good times.
And I still have it. Like,
it's still around. Do you have a Switch now?
I don't.
Okay, well, there's new Kirby's to be explored. They can be
Kirby
can become a car now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like Putt Putt.
Yeah, like Putt Putt.
Oh,
Exactly.
I love it so much.
Pink, purple, close
Yeah,
enough.
we love it. All of the colors.
Yeah, you got Kirby hair too.
Thank you so much.
That's like the exact shade.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing. So when did you know that this was what you wanted to be your career?
I started doing here's how old I am, folks. YouTube was created when I was 13. So that's when I started doing it, but right around the time that it came to be. And I did animations with online friends that I found, and we would voice act for each other's stuff. And I was already doing theater, but this felt right because I could, like, you can be anything on stage, but literally you can be anything with voice acting. Like, they can't see your face. You are, for all intents and purposes, this giant dragon or this tiny little cockroach or whatever. And that was just infinitely exciting to me. Probably the autism factored into that as well. But my parents completely supported me from the start. Thank God for them. And thank you, Mom and Dad, wherever you.
We love supportive parents.
Back in Los Angeles right now. And my dad, the lawyer that he was, lawyered me into my first voiceover class with Bob Bergen, the voice of Porky Pig. He was like, no minors allowed in this class, but somehow my dad got me in, and I never looked back.
You're saying YouTube was created when you were 13. Do you remember the first video on YouTube?
Yes, it was. Was it a zoo?
Yeah, a day at the zoo.
Zoo thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, and it's still up.
It's still up.
It's like trillions of views now.
Crazy. Time has flown. So if it's okay with you, we're going to take some questions from y'all.
Let's
So we
do
do
it.
have a microphone right down in front. And then we're going to shine the bright light on you. So, hello, friend.
I can see you.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. It's a pleasure. I admit, now I can finally ask you some interesting questions since you're not part of a group and they don't have that lock.
Okay, fair enough. Keep in mind, though, I can't give any spoilers to anything. I can't do anything I don't know lore-wise, and I can't talk about upcoming stuff.
You're good there.
Okay, cool.
I'm an Attack on Titan fan. of
Ah,
course.
there we go. Okay, yeah, that's finished. What do you want to know?
It's a two-parter, and of course, it's about Porco.
Porco Galliard. Yes.
One, why did Porco keep blindly charging into these fights over and over, even though he kept getting brutally beaten and humiliated every single time, even though he's supposed to be such an experienced fighter already by now?
I know. You know, in my mind, I think it's because this was the time, so he was like really desperate to prove himself, because when he was a kid, he was glossed over for the Titans thing. In my mind, that gave him sort of an inferiority complex throughout his life, where he wanted to prove himself as a worthy warrior to have a Titan. So when Aaron comes and he has that chance to gain glory from bagging him, I bet he was just desperate to grab that chance.
And then he got his ass whooped again in parodies, like when Aaron smacked him across the face and sent him flying. So, also, the other part, what was it like in that final scene with Porco with him and Reiner just being like, I finally proved I'm better than you. Was he right or wrong in the end there?
That was a tough day, yeah. And I have to give love to Mike McFarland, the director of that, who just completely recovered from an operation on his head. He is back into it now. Yeah, freaking stubborn man. He got right back on his feet in like half the time that they said it would take. So, yeah, thank goodness for Mike. He was so gentle with me that day because he knows what it's like when a character you love and have been is dying, you know. So, so yeah, we were really gentle with that part, but I think he did prove himself in the end. I think he did. Like that act of. That final act of heroism, sacrificing himself so that Falco could live and so that so many others could live. I feel like that was worthy. He, as he said, he made his death count.
I don't know if I can throw in one more before I have to sit down.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
So, what was it like doing the Nutcracker scene? Like, you did amazing during that, and what was going through Porco's head during that?
Probably more desperation. I think that's really a running theme for him. I really don't. I mean, on top of not wanting to lose the battle and everybody, like losing out because Aaron gets the Warhammer, I think he really didn't want it to be because he screwed up and rushed in when he and made a mistake. So I think that was a lot of it there, and I think it was probably adrenaline from being smacked down that many times too. But yeah, I just wanted to give all of me in that scene, and I think it turned out really good. It's one of the best screams I've ever done, I think.
Oh yeah, that "please stop" was just haunting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, what's your name?
Hello.
Hello, my name is Essence.
Hi, Essence. Good to see you
Hi,
again. Glad
good
you
to
got your
see-
pop box back.
Yes, thank you. I just want to know, have you ever had like a difficult time recording a certain scene or voicing a character, and if so, like how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I mean, all the time, and there are many ways it can be difficult. If it's vocally difficult, then I will straight up say, hey, you're not going to get the best performance out of me now because we kind of maybe gave a bit too much before. Can we do this a different day? And more often than not, they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely, because they want all we want is to create a piece of art, the best one that we can create. So that part's easy enough. But then when it's like getting myself hyped up and in the emotional space for it, I try to draw on my own life experiences that I had, like something devastating, like when it's meant to be like depressed or whatever. Like for example, little morose, but Overhaul's final scream when he knew that his plan was spoilers, by the way, for season 4 that premiered in 2018.
Right. Cover your ears. Yeah.
When he was doing that scream, all I could think going through his head was that he put his father figure into a coma for nothing now. So all I could think in that moment is, what if I had done that to my dad? Yeah. So that's what you're hearing when I did that final gut-wrenching scream there. It's not easy reliving or creating those kind of scenarios in your head, but it's part of the whole thing. We want to bring accurate and relatable emotion to this, and all we want is to connect with you guys. See if we can bring that across to you too. Right. So those are a couple ways I get through it.
Thank you. I love your work, by the way.
Thank you, Essence.
Hey.
Hello,
What's your name?
Hello. How you doing?
I'm Scar.
Hi, Scar. Good to see you again.
Thank you. I was just wondering, how do you come up with voices for the characters you voice act specifically? And I mean this in the nicest way possible. The blander-looking characters like Wind Archer Cookie from Cookie Run, or like Glamrock Freddy, I guess, if you could count him.
Sure. So, autism mostly, but when I try to look at how they like when they provide art, that is such a godsend, because when you can see. For example, Sun. I always bring this up because he has a long nose. I figure he has some kind of deviated septum problem, so he's like a happy Squidward. But for Wind Archer, they had most of the time for audition sides, they have a description there, and they may be vague if they're trying to keep secrets about the game. They don't want any of it to get out. But for him, if I can think back to 2020, I think they just sort of said that, his backstory, that he's the guardian of the forest and all that. So I guess seeing his name and the way he was and everything, I pictured him as like a Lord of the Rings type of elf from the beginning, or like a Legolas type of character, so like a high fantasy kind of thing. And then with the wind in the background, just painted this picture of like, oh, he must be really into poetry or whatever. So he's kind of soft, and then he's smaller, so he's kind of up here. That kind of thing. I don't know if I could do the exact voice because I've been talking the whole weekend, so I'm sorry, but just sort of a breathy voice when he's at his base. And then he got into this wrathful Avenger type of thing. That was actually because of Amber Lee Connors. She got me into that part of him so that he could have different layers to him. So that was Wind Archer. For Glamrock, that was actually Scott Cawthon saying that he wanted something that had the essence of Optimus Prime, like that kind of tone, but a fatherly, brotherly, like I must protect kind of vibe to him as well. So that's sort of what came out, just a more rounded thing, Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get to it, but a lot of it is like collaborating with the people, the creatives who are on the project as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
I'm Joaquin.
Oh, purple guy. Huh?
Yeah, I'm the purple guy.
Right on.
Yeah, I think it looks nice, bow tie and everything.
Incredible. Yeah,
Thank
love
you.
the very dapper.
Thank
Very
you,
dapper
thank you.
take on it.
That's what I was going for. I just have a question. Like, how did you start your journey into like the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise? Like, did you apply to it? Did you get a call? Did you like?
Yeah. So the first character I booked was Funtime Freddy back in 2016 for Sister Location, and I was just sort of looking for anything at that point. I was auditioning for everything I could, and my friend sent this audition for costumed entertainer to me at I had like 3 or 4 hours of sleep to my name at that point, if that. And all it said was someone that kids would love, but parents wouldn't want to leave their kids alone with. So I thought, I mean, that's what came. The one that you hear today is the take that came out. I also did a German type of take, my best essence from Medic from TF2. So those were the 2 takes I sent in, and I booked it. Thank goodness it was Scott who was doing the project. He's like, "Hey, you sound great. Here are the lines." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I didn't even know who I was playing until the game came out.
Really?
Yeah, it stayed in codename that long, but yeah, that was the first thing, and then the reception was incredible from you guys, and I'm so glad for that because Scott listens to you guys, and it's like, okay, if they like Kellen, I'm going to bring Kellen back. Plus, I like working with him. And I love working with Scott as well. So that's how it really all started.
Yeah, because Funtime Freddy is like one of the most like recognizable characters in the franchise.
Thank you.
And like he's really funny, and I think you do him really well. And especially with Glamrock Freddy, I love Glamrock Freddy.
Thank you so much.
And Sun and Moon, oh, they're so great. And
A lot of them.
sorry, you're just
No,
a really
no,
good
no,
voice
not
actor,
at all.
man.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful that I've gotten to come back so many times, and I keep coming back as long as you guys will have me.
I hope we can have you more in the future. Genuinely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That means a lot to me, really.
Thank you.
Hope to see you later.
Hello.
Hey, what's your name?
Ruby. So I have like multiple questions about FNAF. Have there been characters that you planned for voicing, but you ended up voicing another character?
So I don't usually. People or voice actors don't have control over which characters they voice. It's completely up to the producers and directors and casting directors. I'm thinking back right now. I don't. If there was somebody else that I was supposed to voice, then I have no idea. Scott is very much about probable deniability, and therefore he tells me little to nothing, and honestly, I respect it. I did in the beginning, by the time that Security Breach rolled around, I had been Freddy, or variants of Freddy, like 3-4 times. So I thought, maybe give Freddy a rest for a second. Maybe they want to give Freddy a rest for a second. And I saw the Funko leaks of the whole band. I'm like, ooh, they got an alligator this time. Hey, that's a part of my register I haven't really shown yet. Maybe we can do that. And so I asked Scott about it, but he had other things in mind, obviously.
Yeah. And with Funtime Freddy, since his voice is really robotic, how much editing was put into those kind of voices?
I did all the editing for that,
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Yeah. It's a very simple effect, but one that I am contractually bound to keep secret. But it's from a program that doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh.
And it was just that filter, and then what I would do is go through the file and like take a really small sliver of it, like a consonant or vowel, and just put it somewhere, copy paste it somewhere else, or cut it and paste it somewhere else. And I would do that maybe like, for Molten Freddy, I did it like maybe 10 times per line. But for Funtime Freddy, I wanted to keep it more subtle, so maybe like 3 or 4 times per line.
Gosh, that's a lot of work.
It was, hey, I love it. I love
Yeah,
audio editing.
That's so great. Oh
It's
my
so much
gosh.
fun.
How is it working with the rest of the cast of Security Breach? I just met Marta when I entered the con, and she signed my Vanny plushie.
Oh, right on, right on. Marta's the best. Shout out to Marta. She's sitting next to me in the table out there. In video games, we don't really get to work with each other. We're all sort of done in separate sessions with the same director, of course. But yeah, we don't really get to see each other unless it's for this. But me and Marta were fast friends, so we've hung out outside of conventions and stuff as well. So I love hanging with her. I've known Heather Masters for forever, and she's like a big sister to me too. And hopefully you're going to be seeing more of her on the con circuit pretty soon. I haven't gotten to talk to Cameron Miller as much, but He's been a really cool guy every time I've got to talk with him. And they're amazing people. I wish we had the chance to do more stuff together, but for editing ease, usually we're done separate.
Great question. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
So we only have about 10 minutes left, so we're only going to be able to do one question per person. I'm so
One
sorry.
question per
I'm
person.
so
Lightning
sorry.
round.
Hey,
Yep.
what's your name?
Hello, my name is Liz. I have actually a question about a character in League.
Oh, in League of Legends?
Fiddlesticks. I just want to know kind of like the experience of voicing that and how you kind of came up with that voice. since
Yeah.
It's like so difficult.
So the original audition was pretty much whatever gross sounds I could do, and a lot of them were wetter, if that's not too disgusting to say, than what you hear now. But in the callbacks, we just sort of, their direction was make it drier. So we kept making it drier and drier and drier until it sounded like a rusty gate, and that's where we sat. We used different other parts of, my what animals I can sound like pigs and horses and stuff, and we layered them in the they layered them in the background of some of the lines. But yeah, it was I've never done this before for any project. It was 4 weeks of sessions to just explore and get me into character, and then 4 more weeks of actual recording for the game. And I was like, wow, I have never worked with people who have given me more space. It was so comfortable, and I appreciated it so much. It was so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
Gabe.
What's up, Gabe?
So I was wondering, how does it feel voicing a character that you know is like about to die? Because you've died an infinite amount of times. So.
How is it voicing a character I know is about to die? It's I've gotten a bit number to it at this point, which is probably not a good thing, but side effects of the job. But when it's somebody that I've spent a long time with, it's like, saying goodbye is never really easy. It's easier when they've done awful things and and probably should not be doing them anymore. But yeah, it's never easy. I usually take a day for myself to just have some ice cream and be gentle with myself. Maybe play some Animal Crossing or whatever. And yeah, it's tough, but someone's got to do it, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Annette Tennant.
Hi.
Nice to see you. I have a question. Okay, we all have a day.
Could you speak into the mic?
I know,
Thank
I'm
you.
so bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're
We
good.
all
You're
have-
good.
We all have days where everything does not go quite as planned, or something happens just out of the blue. In your voices, do you have a character that is a go-to? Like, do you ever find yourself creeping out one of your character's voices in an angry, like, you'll break out in a, well, damn it, in one of your character's voices?
That's a good question.
When you were streaming, I was like, I always have these questions, and I'm like, he
Yeah.
doesn't answer because you can't hear me, so you can hear me today.
No, that's a good thought. Yeah. That's funny. I mean, sometimes I guess it's not even characters really
Right.
that come out. It's just sort of like different parts of my throat. Like if something's really bugging me, I'm like, like my mom multiple times has accused me of growling at
Love
her
that.
without me even realizing it. An autistic thing, I hate to have my hair touched, but she loves to play with my hair. So whenever she comes close and she has that look in her eye, I'm like,
Love that. So
and she's
it's
like, don't you growl at me. I raised you. I carried you to term. Let me play with your hair. This is the toll. I'm
Love
like,
that.
but you played with it for an hour. I want to get up and walk around.
So what I'm hearing is, yes, you have the layers of your characters come out in
Sometimes,
your,
yeah.
in your daily life. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
Hi, Glitch.
Hey, Glitch.
So, what was the highlights of working with Scott?
Working with Scott is always a pleasure. I've never really gotten to work with him. It's usually me, at least in the beginning before Steel Wool signed on, it was me doing a bunch of different takes of the line and then sending those into him, and he would pick the one he liked. But he's always been super generous with me, super open to improv, open to any suggestions or questions I might have. And yeah, I really do like working with the guy. He's been really nice to me. He's been very good to me.
And then my friend has a question.
Yeah.
What it was like working with the class of 1A, the cast?
The class of 1A? Oh, yeah. In anime, we don't get to work with each other either. But we all worked with our lovely director, Colleen Clickenbeard, and she is incredible. She is a mom herself, and we're all her children. It's like wrangling cats most of the time. But yeah, she was also super open to whatever I had. But she could pull me from places where she knew I might have been going the wrong direction with it, because Overhaul was my first big anime role, period. So I could not have had a more patient, giving, kind, mentor going into it than Colleen. So that was so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank
for your
you.
questions.
She also voiced Momo, so technically part of Class 1A.
There you go. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Genesis. What is your most popular character? Because I know you did a lot, but what's one that you're known for specifically?
That's a tough one, because people come for a lot of different things. I can give you a top 5 maybe.
Yeah.
People love the Freddys, Glamrock and Funtime. They love the Daycare Attendant. Overhaul is a big one. But then there have been a lot of Diavolo, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fans in this place in Miami. It's funny seeing which demographic is different fans of what everywhere in the country.
Miami's JoJo fans. That's cool.
Yeah. Based.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we got about 5 minutes left. What's your name?
My name is Sebastian.
Hi,
First off,
Sebastian.
I just want to throw off that I'm a really big fan of you. I've loved your Freddy's and all that stuff since I was in elementary.
Thank you so much.
But real quick, what inspired you for the voice of Sun and Moon? That's my biggest question.
Yeah, so originally I was like, they really wanted me for Sun and Moon, the Steel Wool guys. I'm like, don't you want to give somebody else a chance? I've been so many already. They're like, no, we want you. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm honored. So for Sun, he just this long nose, so I figured like a happy Squidward type of dealie. And then he's also got this manic energy because he has to wrangle a bunch of kids every day. So he's like kind of always on the edge of losing it, maybe a little bit. He's got that nervous energy, but it also comes out in fun ways. And I put my a bit of my own autistic qualities into it. I tend to talk a lot when I'm nervous, as you've probably seen up here. And then for Moon, he's more of the quiet, like, stay away from the bright lights type of autism. And they just wanted the creepiest thing I could do. And that was down here. So no real character inspiration for that past. Maybe Laserbeak from Transformers Dark of the Moon. I kind of liked where his timbre was set for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, it's an honor to meet you.
Honor is mine, friend.
Hey, what are your names?
I'm Gabriella. This is Lene. Hey. Lene's question was, could you do the Way to Go Superstar?
Oh, sure. Way to go, superstar.
Oh, yeah?
See? 4 magic words.
And my question was, did you do like the bloaters from The Last of Us 2?
Yes, I was.
Could you make the sound effect?
Yeah, I was bloaters in the Last of Us Part 2 video game. They sounded like. I was so grateful they pulled those audio clips. You all right?
That was like being at like a Beatles concert.
You need
like
a
you
second?
made that, that was crazy. What just happened?
I'm very grateful they pulled the audio from the game and used it in their Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. They used my bloater sounds for the bloater that you encountered in that maze. I was like, it's me!
Such a fun maze too. Oh my gosh. Now, okay.
I have a video of it. My mom was, but all of these sounds came from me trying to gross out my mom because she makes funny faces. So she's like, well, you did it. Good job. She had to concede on that one after seeing that video.
As she should. Yeah. Thank you guys for your
Thank you.
questions. All right, our final 2 questions. What's your name?
Jaylene.
Hi, good to see you again.
What's your most iconic like blooper moment while recording any lines?
Blooper moment. You know what? Probably in this anime called Akudama Drive, and it's by the creators of Danganronpa, and it's their take on a futuristic Suicide Squad, basically. And there's a part where I have to carry this explosive through this place. I won't go into any more spoilers than that. I was on the verge of, like, you know when you can feel yourself getting sick and you start to fade? That was in the middle of that session for me. So they didn't really have a line set for when he sets it down and like pats it. So they're like, yeah, just do anything you want as long as it fits in it. And at the time I was like, okay. And then the beeps came. I was like, not ready. I was like, what is this? And they kept it. They kept that blooper as the actual line when he's playing. What is this? So that's probably my favorite.
That's good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, our final question. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Dana.
Hey.
What was I gonna ask? Have you ever done a line that just didn't feel like the character?
Sorry, one more time.
Have you ever done a line that just didn't feel like the character?
Feel like it
feels like what?
You can point it up toward you.
Yeah. Perfect.
Have you ever done a line that just did not feel like the character?
Like the actor?
Oh, like the character.
Oh, like the character.
Sorry about that. We're very tired. It's almost done. The con is almost done. A line that didn't feel like the character. You know, remember how I said directors and the producers, they're usually very open to collaboration and stuff? When it doesn't feel like the character, I remember there were a couple of lines in the video game tie-ins that Overhaul was in for My Hero Academia, and there's a lot of stuff you have to do that is very uncharacteristic of him in the first place, like give gifts and stuff like that. So there was a part where he was like very sincere about like, I'm glad you like this and stuff. I'm like, he wouldn't say that. And they're like, I agree, let's change that. So doing a role for that long, you get to have that kind of input.
Thank you.
Great question.
Thank you.
These are all amazing questions. You guys wow, they really came out this weekend.
So
you guys
much.
are great.
Yeah, very introspective stuff.
Wow.
Appreciate you all, love you all.
So, if it's okay with you, we're going to take a big group picture with everyone. Cool.
Let's do it.
So, if you guys want to come to the stage, just not on the stage, so we can take a big group family photo with everybody.